Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We're going to be bringing down Jalen Ramsey in a Jalen Ramsey film session and kind of just talking about what he brings to this Dolphins defense after the trade the other day. Before we get started, please drop a quick like and a sub on today's video. That would really help my channel grow. I'd really appreciate that. That said, let's dive right into the video, and I hope you enjoy. So I would have liked to get this video up probably faster, but, exams and stuff couldn't happen. But Jalen Ramsey going to the Miami Dolphins, the massive trade, a third-round pick, and Hunter Long going the other way to the Rams. And Ramsey is under contract for 3 more seasons. He's one of the best corners in the league. It's really that simple. By some metrics, he is the best corner. In my opinion, I don't think he's as good as he was 2 or 3 years ago, but I still think he's a top 5 corner, and it's really that simple. I mean, the guy's a 6-time Pro Bowler, a 3-time All-Pro. He won the Super Bowl a couple seasons ago. If you look at his PFF grade, 86.4, among the top corners in the league. 4 interceptions last season, 62 solo tackles. Just was one of the best corners in the game. And let's dive into the film to show what he brings to the Dolphins defense. And if I'm being honest, everybody knows about Jalen Ramsey's ability, to go and make plays on the football. Like that's not what I really want to focus on in this film session, but I am going to show it a little bit. On this play here, you're going to see Ramsey lined up over here, and it's a 3rd and 13, right? You're on the 24-yard line. The Falcons just kind of want to try and get this first down, but more importantly, just watch Ramsey on this play. Right, and this definitely is not the best camera angle of this, but this is the one I found, and this is the one we have. And, as you've got the throw here, just watch what Ramsey does. And honestly, it doesn't even matter. Ramsey's kind of just guarding the goal line, but just look at how he literally mosses the receiver. Just absolutely goes up and gets it, right? Those are the kind of ball skills and the kind of instincts that Ramsey has. The football innate ability to just completely out jump a receiver, just jumps higher and wins that ball. That's kind of what Ramsey can do. He's got those ball skills, and imagine pairing that with Xavien Howard, who's got arguably the league's best ball skills too. He's got the most interceptions in the league since 2016. Commentators love that stat, by the way. And Ramsey just simply goes up and gets it. Now put that across from Xavien Howard. That's really big for this Dolphins defense. And, half of interceptions is about positioning and half of interceptions is about football instincts. And that's what Ramsey really has. He's got the instincts. Here you're going to see him one-on-one at the bottom of the screen matched up against DK Metcalf. And Metcalf's going to run an in-breaking route, right? He's going to run an in route and just watch Ramsey's technique. And I'll show you a different angle after the play to kind of just show the technique a little bit better. But you just see how, he's got his eyes on the football over here, right? He's in a spot where he can see the quarterback. He's also chasing after Metcalf, right? And Metcalf is really quick off the line. So Ramsey actually, Ramsey does a good job kind of staying with Metcalf. But as Geno Smith goes back to throw it, look at Ramsey's positioning here, right? Look at how he's inside Metcalf and he's able to undercut the route and then catch it in stride and then, pick up some yardage after, right? And that's huge. But here's the other angle. So at the line of scrimmage, right, Metcalf's going to kind of win it at the line of scrimmage, right? He gets off the line. Ramsey isn't physical at the line here, and that's okay. Ramsey can be physical at the line, and we're going to show a lot of physical Ramsey in a sec. But notice how he's kind of cutting off this angle, right? And he's kind of running at an angle. So if either Metcalf runs this way, Ramsey's in perfect position to undercut, or more importantly, if Metcalf continues to go deeper down the field, Ramsey's kind of in a way where he's almost making it more difficult for Metcalf to just run a straight go. So he's kind of protecting that go route. And then as he sees Metcalf turn, right, notice how Ramsey is looking back towards the football, and now he knows where the football's going. He sees Geno Smith ready to throw the ball, and he's able to undercut this route and get on top of Metcalf. And there might be a little bit of hand fighting, but you can just see the break line speed and just the quick speed and the quick acceleration that Ramsey has to undercut the route and pick the football off. This is a really nice play by Jalen Ramsey. Once again, ball skills, instincts, speed, athleticism, all those things that Ramsey has. But to be honest, the thing I'm more excited about in Vic Fangio's defense with Xavien Howard and all these pieces, that that Vic Fangio has at his disposal. I mean, remember Bradley Chubb. You've got Emmanuel Ogbah, who's still there. Jaelan Phillips, who's one of the brightest young stars on this defense. Jerome Baker's still around. You're going to have Brandon Jones back. You still have Jevon Holland. I mean, there's so many pieces to this Dolphins defense. So many big names. Christian Wilkins also another guy. If the Dolphins can bring him back too. But so on this play here, you're going to have Ramsey over there. He's lined up. It's going to be a corner blitz. That's really that simple. And Cooper Rush is going to drop back, and Tony Pollard isn't going to be able to try and deal with the situation. Tony Pollard just reads this wrong. It's that simple. Pollard, what he should do is kind of get Ramsey there, but hey, when Ramsey comes unblocked, this is where the physical nature of Ramsey plays. I don't think there are enough corners in the league that play with the same physical instincts as Jalen Ramsey. Maybe Patrick Surtain does, but Jalen Ramsey just wants to get downhill. He wants to get downhill. He wants to thump. And that's what he does. Look at him just come downhill, and Cooper Rush has no idea where Ramsey is. Boom! Lays the boom. You can get him in these kinds of places. You can rush the quarterback. He can provide the boomstick. That's what Jalen Ramsey's about. He's a physical corner. He wants to get downhill. He wants to be a thumper. And likewise, he wants to get downhill as a pass guy and to stop the pass and make tackles in open space. And he's really good at that too. And I made a film session on Jalen Ramsey, when he had one of his All-Pro years with the Rams. After that, and I kind of showcased that, and I can attach that link to that video in the description down below. And he's still doing those things. He's still getting downhill, and he's still being a thumper. And that's what I want to talk about, because Ramsey, sure, the ball skills are there, and the athletic ability on the outside, one-on-one, are all there, right? But what I think Ramsey's most underrated skill is just being able to make open field tackles, and more importantly, being able to bring the boomstick. Almost like a linebacker brings the boomstick. If you think about Landon Roberts and how he wants to get downhill, I feel like Jalen Ramsey has that similar just, I want to get to the football, I want the football, and I want to be around the football. And on this play here, the Rams are going to be kind of sitting back in the zone coverage here. And this is going to be Ramsey over here. And Ramsey's going to be sitting back. You're going to have all these little zones, kind of just guys sitting back into those pockets. And, P.J. Walker's just going to dump it off to McCaffrey here, right? And just look at the instinct, right? As soon as P.J. Walker turns to throw this football, right, as soon as he even, doesn't even get back to this drop, notice how Ramsey's weight shifts forward. And before the ball's even been thrown, you see how Ramsey is literally in full stride, full speed ahead, trying to get to McCaffrey. And he's able to quickly close the space. By the time where McCaffrey catches and turns, there's really nowhere to go with the ball. Because Ramsey's going downhill, he's got the speed, and McCaffrey's, he hasn't been moving his legs, and Ramsey's able to lock up and make the tackle and lays the boom, completely makes McCaffrey go flying for a negative play. Those are the kind of instincts he has. Those are the kinds of willingness to get downhill he has. That's what I love about Ramsey, and of course he's got the swagger too. And this is another corner blitz here. This is very similar to the play against Dallas against Cooper Rush, but this time Ramsey's going to be a little bit more patient. And you're going to see him Ramsey over here, and he's going to rush the quarterback right here. But you're going to see him just kind of almost stutter step at the top of it, right? He doesn't just charge full ahead, kind of waits a sec, and then as he sees that, you've got that matchup on the offensive tackle, and there's no one guarding this space. There's no blocker. There's no extra man accounted for. P.J. Walker, what he needs to do is he needs to get the ball out of his hands quickly, and dump it down to one of his checkdowns, either here or here. But they trusted Ramsey to get to the quarterback quick enough where this option doesn't really bother him, right? You've also got this linebacker here who's kind of playing the space over here, trying to almost cover this guy and this guy as he comes across. But they trust Ramsey to get to the quarterback quick enough where it doesn't matter. And Ramsey goes unblocked, and once again, it's a blindside hit. Boom. And you've got Jalen Ramsey running full speed, and you've got Aaron Donald rushing from up the middle. That's a deadly combo, and Ramsey's able to capitalize on this play. And that's kind of what he can do. And imagine Jalen Ramsey in the corner blitzes, but also imagine Brandon Jones when he comes back. This is a really nice addition to the Dolphins defense in so many more ways than just simply coverage. And something all the league's best corners can do is, obviously they can get interceptions, right? That's their job. That's what they're being paid for. They're being paid to force turnovers, but they can also force turnovers in other ways. And some of some of that big time, turnover power comes from forcing fumbles. And Xavien Howard can do it, and so can Jalen Ramsey. It's part of that thumping. It's part of that power. It's part of that game where he wants to play with speed. He wants to play with physical play, and he wants to get downhill. And that's what's going to happen on this play here. You're going to see Jalen Ramsey kind of sitting back here in coverage. And this is just going to be a simple pitch play. I think Jalen Ramsey just completely owned Christian McCaffrey in these plays that I'm showing you here. But it's going to be a simple pitch play. It's just a little running back to the outside, trying to get some yardage upfield. And notice how Jalen Ramsey recognizes the play. He's coming downhill. Of course he is, right? That's all he does. And he's going to sit on it. And then watch this absolute thump. Boom. Ball goes flying in the air. And the 49ers are able to recover. But this is a big time hit there by Ramsey, forcing the ball free. That's the physical nature that he plays with. So when you're talking about Jalen Ramsey, I think it comes down to a couple things. Xavien Howard had one of his worst seasons as a Dolphin last year. He still put up some interception numbers. He still played fine, right? He wasn't bad for a corner, but for his standards, he got burned a lot, especially in coverage, and in large part because of the absence of Byron Jones. Remember, Byron Jones injured for the entire season, and then announced his retirement, and announced that he was not gonna play anymore, and that kind of needed. Forced the Dolphins to need another corner, because when you look past Xavien Howard, who's not the same player that he used to be, sure, he can put up interceptions, he can put up those numbers, but he's no longer the guy who's going to put up, 10 interceptions by himself. And that 10 interception season was a large part due to having Byron Jones on the other side from him, because it made him so much more dangerous. And Byron Jones looked terrible in that season. Byron Jones got burned so many times in that season, but Byron Jones was still a really good corner, right? And he was still a top 15 corner. But when you had Jalen Ramsey, who's a top 5 corner, top 3 corner, maybe even the best corner in all of football, it makes a big difference. It really does. Because now, throws are going to be so much more force, because, it's either you're throwing at Xavien Howard or you're throwing at Jalen Ramsey. And either way, that's a dangerous spot. And that's a place where if I'm a quarterback, I don't want the ball being thrown. But also you got to remember too, now you've got Jalen Ramsey as your number 1 corner. You've got Xavien Howard as your number 2 corner. And having another good corner alongside you makes you better, right? It makes you better. And then you've got Kader Kohu or Nick Needham, as that slot corner role, and now you've got the depth back. And remember, that was something the Dolphins had going into the season. They had the depth at corner, but when Byron Jones couldn't play and when Nick Needham got hurt, and then you had Kader Kohu as your cornerback too, and then behind him Noah Igbenogany, that's where the Dolphins really struggled defensively, because they didn't have that same ability to shut down opposing defenses. They still had the pass rush, but they weren't getting the coverage sacks, and that's something that they're going to get now. And that's going to be really big for this defense. And also, you got to remember Vic Fangio, bringing him one of the best defensive minds in all of football. He will find ways to utilize Jalen Ramsey in ways where you can get him rushing the quarterback, you can get him in the box, and that's the thing about this Dolphins defense. They've got guys that can rush the quarterback too, but from the secondary. You look at Brandon Jones when he gets back. You look at Jevon Holland, obviously. Now you've got Jalen Ramsey, who had some sacks last year. This is a versatile secondary, and that's what makes it really dangerous. And you add, arguably a top 10 player in the league in Jalen Ramsey here, and also for a 3rd-round pick and Hunter Long, are you kidding me? It's a steal. Yes, I know you're paying $18 million a year over the next 2 years for Jalen Ramsey's services, but it's going to make a big deal and a big difference on this defense. This defense is going to look completely different in the way it operates and the way it functions. This is arguably one of the league's best defenses now, if you just look at the names on it. And sure, the Dolphins still need a linebacker. Look for them to add one in free agency, but Jalen Ramsey is legit. Xavien Howard is going to have a bounce back year. This defense is going to be huge, and then obviously the offense is going to be good too. It was one of the best in the league last year, at least in the regular season, while Tua was healthy, and while Tua was feeling it and he was cooking. So the Dolphins will have a lot of pieces back next year. It's a make or break season, a loaded AFC East and a loaded AFC, but it's going to be a lot of fun. And Jalen Ramsey gives this team another star. How many Dolphins fans would have guessed that a year ago the Dolphins would have Tyreek Hill and Jalen Ramsey on the roster? This is a star-studded lineup from top to bottom. They've got Pro Bowlers and All-Pros left, right, and center, and Jalen Ramsey adds to that star factor. But more importantly, defensively, this is a guy that is versatile. This guy wants to get downhill. He has a nose for the football, and at the end of the day, he simply makes the guys around him better. He's going to make Xavien Howard better, and he's just an elite star in the league, and that's all the Dolphins defense really needed. Get another elite star. I mean, it's like building a Madden franchise at this point, but Jalen Ramsey is a huge pickup, and he's going to bring a lot to this Dolphins defense. And with that said, that's pretty much going to end the video for today. Did you agree with my analysis? Why or why not? Leave your comments and thoughts in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Also, if you're new around here, please drop a like and a sub on today's video. I'd really appreciate that. And with that said, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, see ya.